While drearily watching a show about a zombie apocalypse, our main character Akira depressingly hopes that this was his life, reminiscing on how after 3 years, he had finally gotten the job he'd always wanted when he was employed by the production department, where he literally runs into a beautiful accounting department employee, Sayori, who positively wishes him good luck before being called by their boss, so he goes to meet with Kasugi, the department chief. Later, Akira goes to a pub for the corporate celebration after his first day of work with his colleagues who, concerning college and other topics, interrogate him as everyone cheerily keeps celebrating. At the bar, he notices Sayori, who smiles at him and makes a commitment to try hard to win her over. As they notice their watches, all of a sudden, everyone becomes mindless worker drones and lose their personality as they shuffle away. Their weird change in mood at work catches Akira's attention, and he starts to question why. When Akira gets home, he's fatigued from working many all-nighters and keeps getting less and less sleep, but is still committed to giving it his all. Someone tells Akira about the company's employee-friendly benefits, such as paid yearly vacation time, anniversary days off, and days off for mental wellness, followed by more benefits that sound great but are completely false, stated by Akira. After a year, as someone named Takahashi has been absent for some time, Kasugi asks Akira to do a job for him in a few days. Later, as a result of working over his lunch hour, Satori delivers his food, seeing which he says that she's the only one keeping his sanity in line, and was his crush before she's called by the CEO in his office, where she starts making low sounds as Akira remarks he found out that she was the CEO's mistress. Talk about a shocker. Akira is confused as to why, in the absence of Satori, he continues to work for this production firm and wonders whether he should search for another job. But he doesn't want someone else on the team to cover for him and go through hell because of not having the time. One day, as he wakes up once more with little to no sleep and sees a note reminding him that he has to pay for his bike space posted on his door, he goes to talk to the management of his building about the matter. But when he doesn't hear back, he notices the manager's door is open and peeks inside to see that the manager has become a wild zombie, which he's confused about. Akira escapes and is still asking himself questions when all of a sudden, an army of zombies starts chasing after him. As he runs away, he realizes how happy he is about the fact that humanity has been taken over by a zombie apocalypse after giving it some thought, because it means he won't have to go to work anymore. After locating an area free of zombies, Akira ponders on what he should do with his spare time and also expresses doubts and concern about Satori's safety before confidently declaring that he would sooner be eaten by zombies than suppress his affections for her, and bikes towards her apartment. When he gets there, he sees some shows on the doorstep and goes inside to discover that his half-naked boss has turned into a zombie. Akira confidently declares that he'll be resigning and rushes at the CEO, utilizing his rugby talents to kill him by throwing his boss out of a window. As he goes inside, Akira sees Satori, who stares at him, has also turned into a zombie, and proclaims his lover for her before running away as she starts chasing him. After that, he goes to a corner store at night and wonders what he should do now that he's free for work, so he buys himself a notepad and a pen and uses them to create a 100-point bucket list on things he wants to do before turning into a zombie. As Akira's depressingly working at his office, his chief, Kasugi, angrily asks him what they'll do about the deadline and says no one will leave until they're done with the work before Akira hurriedly wakes up and reminds himself that the zombie apocalypse has ended, which means that he is no longer required to go to work. As Akira is happily cleaning his house and enjoying a beer, he sees a news reporter discussing the chaos caused by the zombie apocalypse just before she is attacked by one, seeing which he considers his situation for a while after witnessing the reporter die, but then dismisses it and decides to have some more beer. Sadly, Akira runs out of beer and has to go get more from outside his house. Meanwhile, a pair who have not yet been transformed into zombies go to their balcony in distress and find Akira using one of the pipes attached to the walls to get down. After the two parties stare at each other in confusion, he gives them an explanation of what he plans to do and his objectives, and asks if they want anything from the store, ignoring their dire warnings before making a commitment to bring them some items after finishing his shopping and running away. When he gets to the store, he surprisingly sees a girl sipping water. He nervously goes to get himself beer and tries to give the girl his number. Damn, Akira's got some riz, saying it would help if they banded together in these problematic times, but she calls him out for putting his life in danger for some alcohol, even if she refuses to provide it to him. She claims that she would never work with someone who doesn't know what his priorities are before a gang of zombies break into the store, as Akira chooses to ignore her and gets ready to defeat them before she quickly grabs him in order to save Akira from a truck that is crashing into the store to kill the zombies. After thanking her, Akira discovers that the truck's collision has wrecked his bike. He looks around and finds himself a motorcycle which he rides away to the Kasakas, the couple he had previously met, but sadly discovers that the Kasakas are either dead or have been converted to zombies because their home is completely destroyed and covered with blood, which puts him in a solemn mood. When he gets home, he ponders on his life. Before turning in for the night, he pulls out his bucket list and adds 33 items. The girl whom Akira met at the store appears in a flashback. While exercising, she listens to the emergency messages via her radio and spends some time making a list of things she needs to accomplish in order to stay alive after failing to get through to the LA. Using her binoculars, the girl notes details about the many zombie species she observes outside and leaves her house to purchase necessities, but can't resist the temptation to get Sakura Machai, one of her favorite treats. As she's standing in front of the refrigerator in the store, she sees Akira drawing closer to the store. She was able to also see the truck before it crashed into the store because of the camera she'd mounted on her bike. In Club Shu time, as a girl is shakily crying, asking for her parents, Shu comfortingly hands her a cocktail, asking if she's alright and saying there's nothing to be afraid of here, so she should get some rest before a staff member quietly notifies him that they're back. He says he has to attend a meeting now and asks if she'll be fine by herself, warmly promising to come back later. Shu and the other staff members confidently leave the building, taking their weapons and confronting the oncoming army of zombies before bravely declaring that they'll do whatever it takes to protect this place and rushing forward. A few hours ago, Akira is trying to grow a beard in order to mark something off his bucket list. He walks out of the washroom when he receives many messages on his phone and realizes that the Wi-Fi is back online, seeing which he reflects on how, over the past 3 years, he had forgotten to answer to his messages. Looking over his list, he comes upon the name Kensho and remembers his longtime friend before resolving to find him saying a man of his caliber would never just lie down and get turned into a zombie. Meanwhile, Kensho is battling for his life at Club Shu time in addition to being imprisoned in the bondage chamber, if this is how he'll die before suddenly remembering his buddy, Akira, who always laughed at his jokes. Over the phone, Akira suddenly contacts Kensho, remarking that it's been a while and has been over a year since they last went out for drinks before Kensho asks why he sounds so hyped. Akira bikes away towards Shinjuku, remembering Kensho. Accepting that Kensho was correct, Akira sincerely apologizes and admits he was jealous of his success and regrets not paying more attention to him, stating he should have quit the firm. They then reach the rooftop, pursued by the zombies, as Akira daringly jumps to a nearby building and urges Kensho to do so as well. Kensho takes a bold step and manages to reach the opposite building, taking off his clothes along the way. Later that night, as they are talking on the rooftop, surprised for a moment, Akira says there's no way that's going to happen, and the two start laughing. The statement, "drink and laugh with my best buddy," has been cut off from Akira's bucket list. Akira keeps playing his game, while Kensho takes a quick look at his bucket list. Although Akira advises Kensho to make his own, Kensho decides to add a few items, demonstrating his commitment to helping Akira after he rescued him from a near-death experience. Next, Akira proposes traveling to Ikeburo to get a widescreen television, fulfilling a dream of his. After Kensho tells Akira that he wants to do stand-up comedy, Akira is motivated to think about his own ambitions, but on their way they stumble into a truck being driven by a zombie and find refuge in the underground section of a mall. Akira and Kensho make the decision to talk to the female survivors they have come across because they see it as a chance to cross something off Akira's bucket list. To the pleasant surprise of them both, the girls Rieka, Maki, and Yukari introduce themselves as flight attendants. But when he sees that Kensho is having luck with one of the attendants, he decides to do a practical joke with a bottle of tequila in an attempt to make one of the other girls laugh. When Akira's strategy works, the girls all start laughing, but he, on the other hand, has to go to the bathroom to cope with the consequences of the tequila by throwing it all up. But their time takes a dark turn when the man they were with rushes at her. Blearily thinking that he's trying to do something with her, she tries to angrily fend him off. Meanwhile, Yukari confides in Akira, disclosing that she has a boyfriend and discussing her worries over her work, and Maki and Kensho get out of a bed as he hears a sudden noise, but she asks him to get back in for another round before they run into a zombified Rieka who pounces on and kills Maki, so Kensho is forced to use Rieka's bag as a weapon in self-defense, while Akira and Yukari are having a heart-to-heart conversation about their professional struggles on the staircase. Akira realizes that, although he'd always dreamed of working in the production sector, his new path has shown him that this wasn't really his ambition. Suddenly, the zombified man bursts in and attacks Yukari while they are still talking, and even though Akira is able to throw him away, it barely manages to infect her. Kensho is searching for updates on the zombie outbreak, while Akira is playing the same zombie video game from before. Kensho informs him that several communities in Hokkaido had blocked off access tunnels. Since his family is in Gunma, Akira thinks they may be safe and admits that he wants to live out his childhood goal of being a superhero who battles zombies when Kensho colors his hair yellow. Akira visits the aquarium with Kensho and adds his desire to become a superhero to his bucket list. He goes to the backside rooms of the aquarium with Kensho, where he opens a locker to discover an odd shark costume, which he transforms into a superhero suit using spray paint. Meanwhile, some desperate survivors are trapped within a bus. On board, an infected person unintentionally begins attacking other passengers, and everyone dies save for one single woman before Akira arrives just in time and uses his superhero identity, a Courager, to save her before a zombie attacks. The girl from before dashes by Akira in the present and enters the aquarium with a group of others. As the girl examines his actions and asks how protecting others helps him, Akira explains himself, so she appreciates his effort, but wonders if he thought about the risk he was placing people who matter to him in. Akira thinks about the girl's comments as she warns him that his chances of surviving would be greatly reduced if he is unable to assess risk. Abruptly, the gang hears a loud noise. As Akira and Kensho look into the situation, they come across a bizarre shark that has two people trapped inside of it. Akira learns the girl's strategy for taking down the shark and starts battling it by himself, while she goes somewhere else to do what she needs to. Akira gets overpowered by the shark, but Kensho distracts it by flashing his naked body. By doing this, Akira gains enough time to summon the bravery to take on the shark. When the girl flings some batteries in his direction, he's able to strike the shark with an electric blow and crosses off being a superhero from his bucket list after the fight. Akira receives her contact details from the girl and finds out that her name is Shizuka Mikazuki. Lastly, Akira and Kensho decide to travel to Gunma in order to locate his relatives. When Akira and Kensho get back to their hiding place, they admire expensive watches but sadly encounter a water shortage and a power outage. Akira looks up at the stars at this uncertain time, thinking back to his native Gunma. At that moment, Kensho proposes that they make a visit to check on Akira's parents' survival, as Akira mentions on the drive that he wants to buy an RV so that their journey will be easier. When they get to an RV show, Shizuka shows up out of the blue once more and turns down Akira's request to go with them because she doesn't have a driver's license. When Akira and Kensho find out about Shizuka's license problem, they try to talk her into coming along by stressing the dangers of her driving an RV without any prior expertise, so she looks through the several RVs available and tries to find one that will work for them, thinking that Akira and Kensho's first idea of a lavish RV is insufficient. But Kensho suggests they pick an RV based on what they like. While they wonder what they should do, they accidentally draw a large number of zombies to themselves and scramble into a random RV and drive off, fleeing the approaching danger. Shizuka expresses her opinion that the zombie outbreak is brought on by a virus, and that creating a vaccine could be a way to stop it. Kensho is riding a motorcycle when they suddenly come along a spike strip barrier, which causes him to hurt himself. They are taken aback when they encounter Chief Kasagi, the mad boss that had previously led Akira's crew at work. Akira's survival astounds Kasagi, who gives them a place to stay at his truck along with food, extra tires, and other supplies. I feel that there's a catch somewhere. Akira is appreciative of the offer, but he also can't help but notice the odd sensation in his chest from seeing the person who had caused him so much hardship in the first place. But Kasagi is not acting in good faith. He threatens to use zombies as leverage to force Akira and his buddies to work for him for 2 days, called it. Kasagi gives Akira a summary of his responsibilities, saying he's going to be working at the loading dock and reinforcing the barriers. Easy jobs anyone can do, and assures him saying they'll be alright because of the trust they've cultivated with each other over the years, even if Akira's a bit inexperienced. Meanwhile, Shizuka attends to Kensho's injuries and fears Kasagi will find a method to keep Akira working longer than the 2 days they originally agreed upon. On the next day, Akira works hard at his work and observes how unhappy and worn out everyone seems to be. He even keeps some beer in secret to give to them later as a modest gesture of generosity. When Kasagi learns about this, at first, he questions the unnecessary usage of power. But when his co-workers make the decision to host an open house for Akira and his pals, he changes his mind. After they have gone, Akira sees how Kasagi is using the zombies like simple tools. On the other hand, Kensho and Shizuka talk further about Akira's dilemma and wonder why he puts up with Kasagi's torture. A young Shizuka brings home a dog she saw on the streets, but her father refuses to let her to take care of it because he doesn't want her to help the weak. In the present, Shizuka observes from a distance as Kasagi throws the welcome celebration he promised his soldiers and asks Shizuka to get him a drink, while Akira tries to carry out his server duties for Kasagi's soldiers. While pouring Shizuka a beer, he taunts her with unpleasant remarks. Akira gets called over by Kasagi, who requests another drink from him and yells at Akira when he hands him an empty bottle by mistake. Simultaneously, Shizuka ponders on her previous existence, which involved her father and his career as a heartless financier. Because of the importance of her father, Shizuka was supposed to be the ideal kid, but it was revealed that she had a puppy in her room that she called Rue. Shizuka approached her father about her desire to become a doctor after treating Rue. But for financial reasons, he despised the career, believing it would make Shizuka appear weak, and also told her that he had men kill Rue. Shizuka thinks that if she wants to live, she has to follow her father's instructions regardless of her grudges against him. Meanwhile, Kasagi informs Akira that it would be better for Akira to work for him than for him to try to desperately survive the apocalyptic world with his pals in such a dangerous time. Shizuka gauzes on and remembers another incident from her past with her father, in which he instructs her to keep doing what he says and points to the poor people. When he begs Shizuka not to make a fool of herself, she understands that doing what he says is only going to help her father. As Shizuka enters the RV again, she finds Akira's bucket list, and once she's done completely reading, adds something of her own to it. After 2 days, Shizuka informs Kasagi that she, Kensho, and Akira are leaving. Akira, however, claims that he will remain with Kasagi because he believes leaving would be too risky. Akira claims he must pay Kasagi back for everything he has done for them before Shizuka abandons him, and he believes that working for him indefinitely will take care of that. This makes Shizuka angry since it brings back memories of her time spent with her father. She informs Akira about Kasugi's true motives and says he opened her eyes, making her vow never to give herself over to anybody again. Asking Akira what he wants to do, Shizuka gives him his bucket list and requests that he take out his anger on Kasugi. Akira defends his bucket list despite Kasugi's attempts to destroy it and informs him that he would be leaving him, but he thanks Kasugi for looking after him and his pals. Kasugi claims he won't make it out there, but Akira says he would rather risk everything alongside his buddies than turn into a walking zombie to satisfy Kasugi's demands before a man from Kasugi's team reappears with a truck full of stuff. But when a zombie gets out of the car and bites the driver freaks out and releases Kasugi's zombie slaves. Akira quickly devises a plan and gets the help of the delivery crew. While the delivery crew surrounds Akira, Kasugi, and the zombies with a barrier, he prevents Kasugi from being turned into zombie chow and causes an explosion. After Akira blows up the area, Kasugi and Akira jump across the trucks, and his employees later inform him that they are leaving and walk away despite Kasugi begging them to stay. Meanwhile, Akira, Kensho, and Shizuka set out to locate Akira's family by car in Gunma. While traveling to Gunma with his friends, Akira notes that he has so far accomplished 15 of the 100 items on his bucket list before they find a vehicle being attacked by zombies while traveling there. Akira excitedly gets ready in his shark costume and makes preparations to free the person trapped inside. But thanks to her samurai armor, Beatrix Ammerhauser, the survivor from inside, defeats the zombies with ease. Beatrix introduces herself and discloses that she is a foreigner from Germany who visited Japan because she was spellbound by the country's culture and wanted to eat sushi. She requests assistance from Akira and his buddies in getting her fish into Takasaki City by truck, saying that the desire to meet the final surviving sushi chef and eat the beautiful amount of delicious sushi is the reason she wants to deliver the fish. Akira is on board with helping Beatrix fulfill his purpose, but Shizuka and Kensho are confused by her response. At Takasaki, Akira, Beatrix, and the others encounter zombies once more, so Akira and the rest follow Shizuka's burning plan in order to eliminate the zombies. A fresh wave of zombies appears and streak in the direction of their RV just as everything is going well. Even though Akira has given up hope completely, she refuses to give up and remembers a brief sushi-related childhood memory which encourages her to battle alongside Akira against the horde, vowing never to falter once more. Luckily, Shizuka lures the zombies to a different location using Beatrix's drone. When they get covered in gasoline, Kensho fires a burning bottle at them, which causes all of the zombies to burn up and die. After that, they go to Teisho's restaurant, where the sushi chef is, and they have sushi with one another. Beatrix is happy she tried it, even if she claims it tastes bittersweet. After he has spent so much time honing his trade, Teisho tears up and expresses gratitude to everyone for loving his dish and informs them they can get a complimentary serving of sake with their dinner. Akira and his buddies intend to visit a hot spring to cross off another bucket list item after completing the first one, but Beatrix veers off topic and talks about the connection between love and hot springs. After giving her remarks some thought, Akira decides that living would be more enjoyable if he spent it with someone he liked. Shizuka thinks it would be a waste of time, so she objects. Akira and Kensho dive into the water of the hot springs and begin to swim as Beatrix tells Shizuka that they will have to take a bath with Kensho and Akira because the women's section does not have hot water. Beatrix doesn't mind that Shizuka won't take a bath with them and gets in, but they had to escape the hot springs as a gang of zombies spat their heads out of the water and chase after them, so they make their way to a mountainside. Akira begins taking nighttime baths after discovering a new hot springs area where he meets an embarrassed Shizuka by chance while swimming. It should have been me, not him. To prevent things from becoming worse with her, he takes a bath on the other side of a boulder. Shizuka expresses regret for her remarks to Akira on his conception of love and describes how her father's disapproval of the way she lived influenced her perception of other people's wishes. She claims to be envious of his freedom to express his ideas and his lack of concern about pleasing others, and acknowledges that she is awful at romance and fears being harmed. If Shizuka is going to fall in love, she hopes it would be with an open person. Kensho and Beatrix abruptly arrive there and are upset that Shizuka and Akira kept this location from them, so they hastily dive into the hot springs to end Shizuka and Akira's private moment. Kensho tells the others that they are getting close to Akira's hometown in the present. When they get there, Akira wonders how his father would handle the fact that he is unemployed and notices a stack of cards blocking the tunnel that would take him and his friends to his village, so he abruptly stops the RV. When Akira gets out of the RV to investigate, he finds a swarm of zombies within the tunnel, so they decide to take a different path. As they go, Shizuka informs Akira that she thinks the villagers are safe because they were able to keep the zombies contained in the tunnel until they came along. They save Masaru, a man, from a zombie boar. After giving them an explanation of his predicament and showing them the tree home he is working on, Akira becomes motivated and asks Shizuka, Kensho, and Beatrix for assistance in helping him finish his project. Masaru discusses his thoughts about trees and the forest with them while they work on his treehouse, and tells Akira that he used to be working on a treehouse for his son and commends him on his diligence. Following their celebration at completing it, Masaru tells them to give him a call if they ever need assistance, but will be staying here for the time being. Akira's village is the next stop on his journey with his friends, and when they finally get there, he shows Beatrix, Shizuka, and Kensho where his house is, but becomes alarmed when they approach the town because he sees that no one is outdoors and that everything is disheveled. So he rushes home in fear and sees that the town's residents are having a wild party. The villagers let Akira's parents know he's arrived. Akira apologizes for not doing more for them and praises his father for everything, but his father chastises him for talking nonsense and hits him on the head before informing Kensho, Beatrix, and Shizuka they have empty rooms they can use, and suggests they get some rest before heading to the fields and telling his wife to take care of the guests. She says that sealing the tunnel was the only way to stop the infection from spreading. She explains that some people were able to make it out alive and are now living among the villagers. With Beatrix, Kensho, and Shizuka heading out to explore the town, Akira is left by himself with his mother, and in an effort to pay her back for what he did, he makes an effort to assist his mother. Akira walks out to wash his face after being unable to help his father and wonders what he can do to win his parents' approval.